6 bricks is a new idea where we want to use 6 Duplo bricks, 6 different colors, and help children with pre-numeracy, pre-literacy and perceptual skills. The idea is to give them games and activities to play, not during the curriculum, but in between lessons or when a teacher finds that the class needs to do an activity, either to bring in some physical activity or to bring in some mental activity. So we're looking at inhibitory control, we're looking at working memory and cognitive flexibility. So we are able to develop those skills by playing these games and activities with these bricks. The activities that we're working with can be very specific or they can be very general. So the specific skills in literacy would be about talking about whatever they've built or the process. So more important to us than finding out the end result, in other words, what they've produced, it's finding out how they produced it and what they did to produce it. So they need to be able to communicate that to us. So the first part of literacy that we want to work with children is the communication part. The second part is preparing them for reading. So in order to prepare them for reading, we have to do very specific eye exercises. So with these bricks, we can make the children do specific eye movements that we know are in line with the eye movements that they will need to make when they start reading. So we start training their eyes for reading long before they do the reading. And that way, all the children that would have been hampered by the reading process are less likely to be stuck when they start reading. A really important example is the size. The size of this manipulative is important. Is the average range of vision of a child is about 4 Duplo bricks, so 1 extra brick. And you need to build outside of that range of vision if you want to develop problem solving or lateral thinking skills. But it's also important for reading because it means their eyes have to move from inside a range that they can see to outside that range. It means that if I build outside of that range, the brick I put down becomes abstract because you can't actually see it. Your brain tells you that it's there. So that's the first process of moving from concrete to abstract. So through a concrete manipulation, we start teaching them about what real learning is and how you learn. And the eyes then start moving. And we can do exercises where we get children to place the bricks in an order. So perhaps from left to right, if you're a reader that's reading from left to right. And we can train the eye to concentrate on a concrete tool from left moving to right. If I want to then teach their eyes to get a little bit more specific, I can turn it to the side and I can concentrate on a smaller area. So now I'm starting to teach your eyes to hone in on a smaller area. If I can do that in a concrete tool, it's going to assist me later when I start focusing on smaller things like letters or in an alphabet. The advantage of 6 bricks is that we're looking at maximum $5 per child. And if you consider that they're going to use these bricks for 5 years of schooling, we're looking at $1 a child per year. And that means that any developing country in the world would be able to afford this type of initiative. And we could also roll it out on scale, which is quite difficult to do in normal situations. So it's a very new idea, a very new concept, but already people are so excited by it that they've just taken it. So they've heard about it and they're trying it on their own. So at the moment, even though the concept isn't 6 months old, we've got it in 5 countries. So we've got 5 different countries trying it. So we've got it in Ukraine, Mexico, Denmark, South Africa and Turkey are all trying it at the moment. I've attended training sessions in some of those countries, so I've got really good feedback from some of the teachers. But the countries that I haven't done the presentations, I'm getting very similar feedback. So it seems to be similar comments from around the world. The one is that the teacher feels that they feel less like they're preaching and teaching concepts to the child. They're rather exposing the child to a problem and allowing the child to develop their own technique to solve the problem, which is quite interesting. So it develops problem solving by practice. They also like the fact that we use repetition. We do the exercises again and again, and they thought that the children would get bored, and yet they're finding that the children are asking for the repetition, which is quite, they didn't expect that. So we are realizing that young children need repetition in their life. It's a very important factor in the way that they learn. It builds self-esteem, self-confidence. So those are the social skills that we need. Another factor is the mathematics. It's because we're able to play games, we can introduce a dice, and using the dots on the dice, we can use the studs on top of the brick, and we can do all mathematical exercises. So it's a fun way for children to engage in maths. And we all know that if we can turn education into fun, that kids are probably or more likely to learn more. So it's about turning the learning experience into something that's meaningful. And if it's tactile as well as meaningful, the chances of a child retaining that knowledge is so much higher. So Lego have a three-prong attack. They have the Lego retail division, which will provide beautiful boxes in shops and all the good products inside the boxes. The Lego education division looks specifically at education, specific kits for very specific educational needs or areas, and training as well. So it backs up the kits with training, but isn't sold through the retail shops. So it's sold through specialists who understand education and are able to talk to teachers and or governments and institutions looking at education. The third arm is through the Lego Foundation. And the Lego Foundation is supporting educational initiatives around the world. And it's not only initiatives that are using Lego. Some use Lego, but other initiatives are just very good, sound educational initiatives. Part of what they're looking at is all the research into the modern thinking around educational concepts and ideas at the moment. The foundation are looking to support countries who don't have the ability to buy the bricks. So if there are countries out there that don't have the money, or organizations who want to pilot projects and don't have the funds, they're able to apply to the foundation, and the foundation would consider it and then perhaps sponsor the 6 bricks. In terms of getting the content out there, the foundation have decided to put all the content freely available on the web, so that everybody in the world will have access to the 6 bricks ideas. So even if you couldn't find 6 bricks, you technically could find 6 any other tools and use them. And that makes it very powerful. They also want to invite teachers around the world to come up with their own 6 bricks ideas and enter those onto the website as a kind of worldwide competition, but also a way for teachers around the world to interact with each other and perhaps a possibility to win a prize to meet each other. So quite exciting. Very good question, why 6? I need to be more than 4 because 4 is the range of vision of a child. 5 is an odd number. When it comes to teaching children about literacy, we need an imaginary midline, because crossing the midline is one of the very first perceptual skills that children need to be able to master. And so we need 6 so that we have the middle, and that's why it's 6. So 4 is not enough, 5 is enough, 6 I need for crossing the midline. And if I go any more, it becomes more expensive. So 6 is basically the best solution at the best price.